We are recording so far.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the second plenary session for the second National Research Center International Conference on Science and Sustainable Development. I would like to present Elsevier team representatives who are with us today in the second plenary session for the first day of the conference. Dr. Lucia Shumbi, the Senior Consultant in the Research Intelligence Unit from Elsevier, joining us from South Africa. Good afternoon, Lucia.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much for the welcome.
Hope everything is going well by your side. Very nice to have you again.
Thank you very well.
I'd like to welcome Mr. Mohammed Raed, Africa Customer Consultant in the Research Intelligence Unit at Elsevier, joining us from Egypt. Good afternoon.
Hello, hello everyone.
Thank you for being our speaker today, and very nice to have you again.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here today with you.
Okay, we are broadcasting this live session on Facebook and YouTube channels for the conference unit, and also on the Facebook group of Elsevier community. So you may join us from any of those pages, and you may also join through the platform by signing in by username and password on the ICSSD 2021 platform. So let us know more about what you are going to talk to us about, Mohammed.
Okay, I think I will pass the floor to Lucia so that she can do the introduction about today and start the session. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much. And just once again, on behalf of Elsevier, thank you for the opportunity to participate in this conference. We are really excited to share with you information about Egypt's performance within the SDGs. So let me share my screen, and then if it's okay with you, then we can get started. So I can get started.
Yes, I can hear you properly, and I can see the screen too.
Thank you for the confirmation there. So our topic of today is Egypt's performance in the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and we look forward to bringing you some insights from SciVol specifically. The way that we want to present this session is to first give an introduction about why are SDGs so important, especially in the research environment. Then we'll provide a very brief overview of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, just to what are they, and then look at the methodology that we are using within Elsevier to identify research that is contributing to the SDGs. And then I'm going to hand over to my colleague Mohammed, who's going to give a broad overview of Egypt's performance within the SDG based on this methodology. Then I hope that we'll end off with hopefully some time for some questions. But to kick off, in a conference about science and sustainable development, it's really essential for us to talk about the Sustainable Development Goals. You know, what the vital role that researchers have within the Sustainable Development Goals, besides the research that they are performing. So in this, the role that the researchers are playing, or research is playing, is helping the communities to understand the goals. They also provide input about what kind of outcomes are needed for the Sustainable Development Goals or for a sustainable future to be reached. Research also plays a part in terms of suggesting evidence-based strategies that will be accessible for the policymakers. You know, how will policy interpret that? also to help to create indicators that will track the SDGs, and they play a role in advising on implementation of resolution strategies there. But the SDGs also provide an opportunity for institutions. So in that sense, it advances collaboration. So really the SDGs provide an opportunity to advance collaboration, also to facilitate access to science, technology, and innovation. So really bring communities into the scientific environment and to enhance knowledge sharing. And then importantly, it also provides a model, a framework for institutions to communicate their contributions to societal and environmental issues and their impact and the relevance of the research that they're doing. So if we look at very briefly, I don't think we need to linger on what the Sustainable Development Goals are. Most of us are aware that the Sustainable Development Goals were announced by the UN in 2016 as a call to action to achieve a sustainable future by 2030. And this program replaces the MDGs, which were the Millennium Development Goals, which expired in 2015. So to accomplish this, they proposed a set of 17 SDGs as set out in Agenda 2030. These goals are supplemented with 169 targets, also linked to 262 indicators. And they were founded on 5 key areas. So looking at people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership. So that's just very briefly the background. I'm not going into each of the SDGs due to time limits, but just an overview of what the SDGs really are. I think one of the big challenges around the SDGs is, of course, how to measure progress towards them. And as academics and researchers, how do we measure research towards the SDGs? And so this is very difficult, as you will well understand, because each of the goals are, they're multidisciplinary, they're interdisciplinary, they're transdisciplinary, and they're problem-based topics. And researchers don't go to the lab and they say, I'm going to solve an SDG. So often the terminology Sustainable Development Goal does not feature in the research that they are doing or when they publish the results of their research. So that, that terminology is not there. But at Elsevier, we've been working for some time now on methodologies to track publications. So publications as a way to measure what contribution is being made by research towards SDGs. So we started in 2017 and we mapped by mapping keywords. So, looking at the definitions of the SDGs and pulling out the important keywords there, and around that to build a search string that would identify publications around SDGs. These mappings were used then in the first Times Higher Education Impact Ranking in 2019 as an indicator for research towards SDGs. Then in 2019, the search queries were expanded. So then we started with 11. Now in 2019, we had 16 Sustainable Development Goals, which were then defined by a number of keywords, so a keyword string. In 2020, we further developed the search queries in collaboration now with external partners. So we were working with the Aurora network in Europe. We were also working, just click then show you. So we were also working with Auckland University and Southern Denmark University. Then we also collected feedback on papers linked to each of the SDGs. So widespread feedback was invited about whether these search queries that we developed for Scopus were relevant and whether it was picking up the right publications. And then in July 2020, in July 2020, we incorporated the input by internal partners and external partners, science metrics, to this method. And we also added, sorry, my clicks are not working well, but there you go. Then we also included machine learning into the methodology to expand these search queries. So the new mappings that we have, so a lot of work, as you can see, going into creating this methodology to identify publications that represent sustainable development goals. These were then added to, were implemented into the 2021 impact ranking. So these search queries, these methodologies are available free and openly. They are available on the links that are provided on this slide. For everyone to be able to go and look what, there are too large, of course, to show on a slide like this, but it's open for everyone to look at the actual methodology which is used to identify publications that are used to represent the SDGs, right? So I'm going to stop there. My part was just to give you some introduction, explain what the methodology is, but the exciting part of this presentation is really showing you what the methodology has come up and what it says about the performance of Egypt within the SDGs. So I'm handing over to Mohammed. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucia, for this presentation. If you just confirm if you can just see my screen.
Sure.
Just give me a second.
Right, I can see full view.
Perfect. Okay, so Lucia have already talked us through the progress of having the query adapted to give a better picture of how the SDGs are being looked at in SciVal's lens. So I'm going to share with you today a few insights on the research performance of SDGs related topics in the past 5 years. I'm going to use SciVal as a tool to show this research performance. As you know, SciVal is freely available for all researchers in Egypt through the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. We would like to acknowledge the AKB for having this service open for all researchers in Egypt. And we would also love that everyone go into SciVal and benefit from this service as much as possible, because it can give you very good insights to help you in building a strategic research strategy based on evidence and based on information. So SciVal, this report is showing how to collect insights to guide you in the strategic decision-making process. We're going to highlight different ways to benchmark your research performance against peers. We're going also to show you different ways to measure your institution research performance in a particular topic. We're going to analyze a particular topic in detail, showing you the global view, national view, and also institutional view. We are going to focus on the NRC on this part. So the first case today is benchmarking SDGs related research output in your institution with any entity globally. It will also help you to know where you stand against your peers and what are the parts that require you to focus on, and the parts that will need where to invest, will tell you where to invest in your institution. So I'm going to start my presentation with a quick overview on the SDG related research produced compared to the total research output globally, and then focus on Egypt's scholarly output in SDGs compared to the total output in all topics. So as you can see on globally, as represented on the pie on the left side, 32% of the scholarly output is related to the SDGs, which shows how important the SDGs are as a research area globally. While in Egypt, on the right side, it's almost 40% of the scholarly output is related to SDGs, which drive us to a conclusion that SDG-related research output is taking huge shares in terms of time, money, and effort of authors in Egypt and across the globe. So it's a very important topic. In this slide, we are showing you how Egypt is contributing to the UN SDGs by almost 47,000 publications in the past 5 years, covering the whole range of 16 SDGs. The contribution to each SDG is as follows, as you can see in this chart. Those are the 16 SDGs. We are showing here in this slide how Egypt is contributing to each SDG compared to the global output. So Egypt's highest contribution as relative to the global output in SDG is toward SDG 2, SDG 6, and SDG 14. So SDG 2 is related to the zero hunger. SDG 6 is the clean water and sanitation. SDG 14 is life below the water. While the smallest contribution is toward SDG 16, SDG 4, and SDG 10, which are the quality of education, reduced inequality, and peace, justice, and strong institutions. As you can see in this table, those are the 16 SDGs written, the definition of each one. The one in reds are the one that Egypt are performing, are less contributing to them, while the one in green are the ones that Egypt is performing with higher percentages. Let's focus on if we look at the total output related to the SDGs in Egypt in particular, so we are only looking at the 40% of scholarly that are produced by Egypt. So showing the shares of each SDG or research produced for each SDG, you will find that the majority of the published scholarly by Egyptian authors is toward SDG 3, 7, and 6 respectively. So SDG 3 has the highest scholarly output. With almost 70% of the total SDG output is from only research produced on SDG 3, SDG 7, and SDG 6, which are good health, clean water, and affordable and clean energy. Those are the most published papers, topics, or topics or SDG covered in the by Egyptian authors. While Egypt authors focus the least on SDG 1, SDG 5, and SDG 16, which are no poverty is SDG 1, SDG 5 is the global or the gender inequality, and SDG 6 is the peace, justice, and strong institution. It's very important to look at the scholarly output to understand how different countries are contributing toward SDGs. It's also important to take a look at other metrics to benchmark the performance and the impact of your research. So in the x-axis here in this graph, as you can see, in the x-axis, it shows the field-weighted citation impact, which is the average number of citation received for the papers produced by Egypt compared to the papers produced, all the papers in Scopus of the same subject area, of the same publication year, and of the same type of document. So it's a benchmarking metric itself. Field-weighted citation impact is a benchmarking metric where the global average is equal to 1. So if a paper has higher than 1, so it means that it's receiving more citation than the global average. As in the x-axis, there is a field-weighted citation impact. In the y-axis, there is the international collaborations, and the bubble size represents the scholarly output. So as you can see here, the bubble size in SDG 3 is the one in yellow. So it has the highest bubble size, so it has the highest scholarly output. But if you look at the field-weighted citation impact, it is almost 50% above the global average, where it falls in the x-axis in 1.5, which is almost 50% higher than the one, which is the global average. If we looked at the x-axis and the y-axis, if you will, although that SDG 5 and SDG 16 have a small output, as in the bubble size are very small. However, the impact on or the citation received represented by the field-weighted citation impact is much higher than a lot of other SDGs. So this will make us look deeper into SDG 5 and SDG 16 to understand why are they receiving higher citation. And all this is available through SciVal. If you look at SDG 13, as I said, it has the highest share, and SDG 13, sorry, it has the highest international collaboration because it's the highest on the y-axis, while SDG 3 has the highest output and slightly higher impact than the average and the global average, which is higher than 1. However, it's within the average for other SDGs. If we look at, let's look at the top institutions in Egypt publishing towards SDG, you will find that Cairo University comes in the first place, followed by Ain Shams University, and then the NRC, which is a research center, coming in the third place. With an average of 31 to 35% of their scholarly is toward SDGs. So as you can see, Mansoura University here also comes in the fourth place. However, Mansoura University field-weighted citation impact, as you can see here, it's 2.8, which is a very high field-weighted citation impact compared to other institutions in Egypt. Okay, so those are all few insights that you can get when you want to benchmark your performance of the NRC compared to other institutions. You can add different institutions and see how where you stand against your peers. So in this slide, we're showing the scholarly output of Cairo University, National Research Center, and Alexandria University. We'll find that this chart, benchmarking of Cairo and Alex and NRC in terms of scholarly output, as I said, the NRC is contributing to all SDGs, though it's among the top 5 institutions in Egypt, contributing to 11 out of the 16 SDGs. So it's among the top 5 institutions in Egypt in 11 out of the 16 SDGs. So looking at the NRC performance in SDGs, not only in terms of scholarly output, but also in international collaboration and field-weighted citation impact, you will find that almost 50%, as here in the pie chart here, 49.8, almost 50% of the scholarly output is toward SDG 3. So SDG 3 has the highest share. Most of the SDGs with high scholarly output are receiving higher citation than the global average. As you see, this line in orange represent the global average. So any paper falling on the right side of this line means it's performing higher than the global average. Let's look at SDG 3 in particular, since it has the highest weight across across the globe. Most of the institutions globally are publishing about SDG 3 the highest, which is good health and well-being. And also nationally in Egypt, SDG 3 has the highest scholarly output, and also in the NRC, it is the highest. So let's focus on SDG 3 and see more information about benchmarking and digging deeper later on how to on the research performance of SDG in specific, of SDG 3 in specific. So although the number of produced research output by the NRC is comparably similar to Mansoura and Alex and Ain Shams universities, but the impact is less. However, the NRC scholarly output is receiving citations that are almost equal to the global average received for the same publication, and also less than the 4 top institutions in Egypt in terms of citations. So this is benchmarking NRC against other institutions. You see here, Mansoura has very high impact and very high shares of international collaboration, and scholarly output, which is the bubble size, it's almost equal to the Alex, NRC, and Ain Shams. However, Cairo University has the highest scholarly output. So this is an example of the benchmarking module and what you can do with the benchmarking module through SciVal. There's another, now that we have reviewed a few examples on how to benchmark your performance against peers, let's look at how to track your research performance in a particular topic. So this exercise, what we are going to show in the coming slides, can help you understand the research dynamics in a specific research area. This can entail the research plan or the research strategy. For example, if you analyze a specific topic, you would understand who to collaborate with. You will understand where to publish your paper. You will get very insightful information that will help you increase the visibility of your paper as well. So, looking at the global, the global perspective, looking from the global perspective on SDG 3. So we will find that almost 2.5 million papers are produced in SDG 3 with an impact of 28% above the global average. Okay, so the most common here at the first part of the screen, you find the scholarly output and the field-weighted citation impact. And below it, you will find the text or the key phrase analysis where you can get the most trending keywords out of this cloud. The word written in a big font and green, it means it's more trending than other blue and small fonts, small size font. So breast neoplasm and cancer, SARS virus, or prostate neoplasm, colorectal neoplasm, human immune deficiency virus, obesity, stroke, systematic reviews. Those are among the trending keywords globally, if we are talking about SDG 3. On the right side here, you will find also another analysis which is very important. You will find the top authors publishing in SDG 3. For instance, you are an early career researcher. You would like to find who are the experts in this particular topic. If you want to publish on SDG 3, you're looking for experts in this particular topic. Here, from this chart, you can understand who are the top or the key contributors to research globally in this particular area. So you can either use them as mentors to your research. They can view you, proofread your paper before you, for example, before you publish. Or else, if you are a mid-career, or if you want to collaborate or find collaborations that will add value to your research, you can select authors who are the top contributors in this particular area. In the last chart here, you will find the most active Scopus sources. In this Scopus source, it's very important to look at the trend of this chart, because you will find, for example, a journal such as OncoTarget. In 2016 and 17, they've been publishing a lot about SDG 3. However, in 2019 and 2020, you will find the number of scholarly output related to SDG 3 is significantly less than in previous years. So maybe we would like to target journals that are increasingly or they have a positive trend in this particular topic, such as, for example, the International Journal of Molecular Science. It's publishing, maybe it started low in 2016 and it's extremely increasing in 2020. So if you clicked in SciVal and analyze in more details, below this chart, you will find list of more than 100 journals that you can select or approach in this particular topic. So we're looking at a global view here about the SDG 3. Then we look at the national view. So in the national view, nationally, I mean Egypt, hepatitis C and liver cell carcinoma are also another trending topics. We'll find here in the authors, we'll find that Dr. Omar Muhammad Abdurrahman is the top author in this particular area. You will find that the Egyptian Journal of Radiology and Nuclear Medicine is the most active source in this particular topic. If we looked at the NRC itself, you will find that NRC has derivatives as one of the trending keywords. Molecular docking used to be trending, but now it's getting blue, so it's less trending the keyword. You will find that Dr. Awad Hanem Muhammad or Hanem M is the most active author, and Molecules is the most active source. You'll find here Molecule, Egyptian Journal of Chemistry, and also, as I said, it's very important to look at the trend. For example, Molecules and the Egyptian Journal of Chemistry, they're both having a very good trend when it comes to this particular topic. Digging deeper into the analysis of the NRC scholarly output related to SDG 3, you will find here that the output is increasing year by year. And also, we have around 2.3K, 2,300 scholarly output by 7.7 thousand authors are publishing on SDG 3 with an impact of 3% higher than the global average, which is almost equal to the global average. If you look at the field-weighted citation impact per year, you will find here the one is the global average. So after 2016, starting 2017, the field-weighted citation impact, or the citations received for documents published in 2017, is higher than the global average starting from 2017. There's another way also to enhance your visibility and enhance the reflect on the citations, is to publish internationally, or to have authors from other countries who can increase your exposure to your research. So for instance, here, the international collaboration are found on in almost 46.8 of the publication, and also there's also a direct relationship between the international collaboration and the field-weighted citation impact. So if we looked at the international collaboration, you'll find that the impact of the international collaboration is 29% above the global average. However, any other collaboration, whether national, institutional, or single authorship, you will find them below the global average by either 15 or 30 or even 35%. And also you can view the number, who are the most collaborative institutions with the NRC. You'll find Cairo University, Ain Shams, and mostly Egyptian and Saudi universities. So we can, through SciVal, you can assess the current collaborations in terms of impact to understand who are the collaboration that are adding value to your research, and who are the collaboration that you no longer need to invest in. So the final slide here today is showing that the scholarly output is increasing year by year, and so as the Q1 journals. So the Q1 journals are increasing year by year by the NRC authors. You'll find here a total 5 years of around 30% of the scholarly output is published in Q1 journals, and around 30 total 60% between Q1 and Q2 journals. So this is also a good way to analyze who are the authors who have been contributing to Q1, Q2 journals, and encourage them to publish more in this particular journals, and maybe educate more authors who are publishing in Q4 on how to enhance their publishing in higher journal quartiles. So I think this is it in terms of time, and there is a lot more to analyze through SciVal. We've been doing this series and webinars continuous on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank source tab in the Egyptian Knowledge Bank, or the akb.ag website. So please follow us on this, and there is also a lot to learn about the analysis, and a lot of different use cases that can suit authors, early career researchers, and even research leaders in setting the strategy, and head of departments, and measuring, for example, the faculty performance. So I think this is it.
Thank you very much. So, Ahmed Raed, Africa Customer Consultant in the Research Intelligence Unit, joining us from El Sabir in Egypt for this very informative presentation. Actually, we learned a lot about where Egypt's performance is doing with UN SDGs using the SciVal tool from El Sabir. Thank you very much, Lucia Shumbi, joining us from South Africa, Senior Consultant in the Research Intelligence Unit at El Sabir. We have been organizing series of webinars with Elsevier all through the past year from the conference unit at the National Research Center. And actually, we have been dedicating lots of webinars to learn more about how to use SciVal and to integrate it in our research and to improving our research output at different career levels of the Egyptian researchers. So please follow us on the conference unit website, Facebook page, and YouTube channel to catch up with all the previous sessions and follow up with the upcoming sessions. Thank you very much. We only have one question. What about the optimization using statistical methods like RSM? We may answer this question.
Hello. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
I'm not completely following the question. If you can just explain if the method of statistical method of RS.
I think it's an acronym for RSM. I actually don't really understand what it stands for. Maybe we can ask our audience to explain it further, and we will come back to you then.
Thank you.
We can get back to you with an email or something after this with the full answer of any question.
Sure.
We would encourage everyone to ask their questions if you have any and send it to the conference unit, and we will get back to you with any of with all the answers to all the questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being part of our plenary session in the second National Research Center International Conference on Science and Sustainable Development. Thank you, Raed. Thank you, Lucia. Our dear audience, we are please asking you to go back to the agenda and join the live session coming in the session 2A and 2B according to the agenda schedule. Thank you very much for being part of our event. Enjoy the rest of the conference. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.